Hey, have you heard about my AI alter ego? That's right. Ask Alan Anything is now live, and we've trained it on my 13 books. We've trained it on over 200 podcasts. It has most of what's in here, not everything, but most of what's in here. And you can, when you're sitting around going, gee, I wonder what Alan would do in this situation, or I wonder what Alan would say in this situation. Well, now you can. Go to whatwouldallansay.com. Enter the coupon code podcast because you're going to get half off. It starts at only $10 a month. And now when you're thinking, I wonder what Alan say, now you can actually ask. Go to whatwouldallansay.com, enter the coupon code podcast, and start asking me anything. The goal isn't to finish. The goal is to begin. Listen to this episode, see where I'm going. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hey, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I just finished listening to a book called The Overthinker's Guide to Making Decisions by Joseph Wynn. And this was one of the quotes that was inside the book. It was a really short audio book. And the goal isn't to finish, the goal is to begin. And it is so true. And there's so many different ways this has been expressed throughout the ages by me in books and in presentations and things. Those of you that have read my book, Your Attitude for Success, if you're watching the video, it's the red cover book over my shoulder. I have a story in there called Don't Paint the House. And Don't Paint the House is the same thing. It's a story of a friend of mine who kept complaining that she didn't have time to paint the house that she bought. And one day I told her, don't paint the house. And she said, but I need to paint the house. I said, yeah, I know you do, but you don't have the time. She goes, exactly. I said, right. So why don't you just paint one wall? She said, what do you mean? I said, well, you can't paint a whole house today. Why don't you just try to paint one wall today? And if she had painted one wall a week since she had moved into the house, the whole house would have been painted and then some. But she didn't have a ladder, and she didn't have brushes, and she didn't have paint. She didn't have those little chips with the colors on them. She didn't have drop cloths. She didn't have any of that stuff because each of those is a step. And that's where this same thought here reminded me of that. The goal isn't to finish. The goal is to start, because you can't finish anything if you haven't started it. So what are you looking to accomplish, and what can you do to get started? And getting started doesn't mean something big. Like with my friend, going to the whatever store she wanted to, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, whatever, the paint store, and getting some of those little paint chips with the colors. That's getting started. And then getting drop cloths and getting rollers and trays and brushes and the things that you would need to do this, right? In her case, she had some high ceilings. And I said, okay, so there's a pole that you can put the roller on the end of, and you don't have to get up on a ladder to get all the way up there. Or borrow a ladder, rent a ladder, buy a ladder. I mean, a ladder is a great thing to have. I have one, I can't even count how many ladders I have of different sizes in the house because you always need them. I actually gifted a ladder to my son recently that I bought I shouldn't say how long ago, that he will give to his son, who will give to his son or daughter, and so on and so forth, because it's such a good quality ladder. It's a great thing to have. But I digress. This is about getting started. So what is it that you want to do? Some of you have seen me posting my milestones on my Duolingo with my French lessons. And I say every time, this isn't to brag. It's to give you incentive. I didn't get to 1,800 plus days doing at least one French lesson a day in a row without starting the first day, and then the next day and the next. And every morning, even if it's just one lesson, even if it's just one quick, just some matching some words or something, I do at least one lesson a day. And that's how I'm on 1,800 and change, whatever it is these days. But I had to get started, right? And then there's other things that I've gotten started. I started learning ASL, American Sign Language. I didn't continue, right? I did get started. I didn't finish. I do want to get back to it. Every time I see a video of someone communicating with someone that way, I just saw a great one. It was a football player, and he's at the sidelines, and there's a kid who's a big fan, and the kid's deaf, and he's signing with the kid. It was wonderful. I can't communicate that way, and it's something I'd like to do. I will get started again someday, but it's about, then continuing. But I did get a little bit, right? I did get a little bit. I know a few things, right? I know how to say hi. I know how to say thank you if you're watching the video here, right? I remember, I don't know if I remember how to spell my name. I remember some of the letters, but when it becomes my priority, I'll do that. So the question for you is, what's your priority? What is it that would be important for you to be able to do, to be able to finish, right? Or to be able to get started so you're further along. See, I don't think I'm ever going to finish learning a language. I believe I'm still learning English. Words come up every once in a while. I don't know. And I might ask Siri, or I might, look it up or something. We watch Jeopardy, or you're watching a movie or something and somebody says a word, or you're reading an article and there's a word. We're still learning, right? I know I'm still learning Spanish, even though I can present in Spanish and I have a conversation in Spanish. I'm still learning. So I'm not trying to finish. And it kind of, actually, that just reminded me of my days doing Taekwondo. There was no end. I got a black belt. That wasn't the end. I got a second-degree black belt. That wasn't the end, right? The end for me is when I hurt my back and I had to stop training. That was the end for me, but I intended to keep going. I have some friends that have gone way past that. I have friends that are 5th and 6th and 7th degree black belts, right? But it's a lifelong thing. Lifelong learning is really what this is about. So the goal isn't to finish. The goal is to begin. I didn't used to read books. I didn't find the time to do that, right? I didn't make the time to do that. I love reading, but I didn't do that. Now, it's funny, as a kid, I didn't love reading. I was a math guy. I loved math and science and things like that. Says a guy who's written 13 books, working on number 14 now, right? It's kind of funny. But now I love audiobooks because I can consume so many of them that I never would have the time to read, right? When I'm driving, I can listen to an audiobook. When I'm on a treadmill, walking through an airport, going out for a walk, I can listen to an audiobook. I think Audible said I listened to like 60 something books this year and 70 something last year. I didn't finish them all. Sometimes you start a book, you're like, not really feeling it. I just had that recently. I realized that I don't like fiction. I don't. I have a hard time with some fiction, I should say. I shouldn't say all fiction. I have a hard time with Old English language. That's just not my thing. Some people love that. It's not my thing. I started a book. I couldn't finish it because I just couldn't get into it, right? Other books, 1984, I had never read that. I listened to that. That was interesting. Don Quixote, that was interesting. But this one was kind of had a lot of this older English language, and I just couldn't continue with it. So anyway, I got started. I didn't finish. How would I have known that if I hadn't gotten started? So still early in the year, right? Not that you need the beginning of the year to get started. I don't believe in resolutions. I think there's any time is a good day to get started. Matter of fact, any day that ends in the letter Y is a good day to get started. So what do you want to get started with today? Whatever it is, take one step towards that. Don't think about finishing. Think about getting started. Think about taking the next step and the next step, just like when a baby learns to walk. One step, next step, next step. That's the challenge for you, is get yourself started. And then one day, maybe you'll finish, or maybe it's just another lifelong journey of learning, like me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com. alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.